Yo, Bracy Skills Clinics. Back at it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. One thing I want to say, for those that are supporters of my channel that are Spurs fans, man, I really appreciate the feedback that I've been getting in the comment section and then even like on the social medias. I really appreciate it, man. I try to give honest content on my input and where I, see my Spurs. I've been a Spurs fan since I was 8 years old, and I fell in love with the team back in 1999. I was a young kid, seeing the first run. I just been a fan ever since. And what makes it unique about me being a fan is I'm in the Bay Area. I'm not in Texas. I'm not in San Antonio. I'm actually in the Bay Area. So it is weird being a Spurs fan in the Bay Area because I'm in the middle of the Warriors and the Lakers. And then even where I'm located, like I'm not too far from Sacramento. So everybody always comes to me and says, "Oh man, how are you a Spurs fan in the Bay Area?" Blah, 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 blah. So I deal with it. So I try to give my input. I'm a diehard Spurs fan, so I really appreciate the support. Now, on to why you clicked this video. Yesterday, I talked about us being in position with the moves that we made during the trade deadline that is going to put us in the position to make big moves this offseason. This video, I'm going to talk about what possible moves we'll be making. Okay? I'm going to start with the draft because I think what we do as far as free agents or even possibly trades is really going to depend on what we do in the draft. Tough to really say who can we get or who we will get because, of course, we don't know the draft order. We're still playing, as you heard, Pop. We're still trying to make the playoffs for sure, rightfully so. So it's really it's very difficult to say who. But I am going to put one possible scenario. One thing I will say is I truly believe it is worth possibly if the opportunity makes sense and we don't have to give up too much as far as our current roster. I think it definitely makes sense to trade up for a kid like Paolo. I think he's, I even talked about it with somebody on social media about, his one of his games he didn't really play so well, so there were some concerns about Paolo. I'm not really concerned about Paolo. I see star. I see a mini version of Carmelo Anthony as far as his offensive skill set and his height. He's actually taller, I believe. So, for us being very, very weak at the 4 and Paolo being just that next level of where power forwards are headed in today's game, if it's there and it makes sense and we got to give up 2 of our picks or 3 of our picks to get the top 3 pick or whatever it takes, I definitely think it's worth it. And Seattle connection between him and DeJounte Murray. So now DeJounte is a star now. So we gotta care about making him happy to a certain extent now, for sure. We want him to be a lifer, at least I do. And I think getting Paolo would be huge for DeJounte. Just the Seattle connection and just him being, a really, I think a player that's going to be really good in the future. I definitely think if the opportunity is there, let's say we miss the playoffs, don't even make the play-in game, and let's say we get, I'm going to just throw numbers out there because Boston is playing really good, so I don't think that pick is going to be crazy high. Let's say we get 6. Let's say 6, 17, and 21. Let's say those are the draft order for our first-round picks, right? If the opportunity to get, like, the number 2 pick is there, and let's say the number 1 is going to be, the number 1 pick is going to be somebody else, it could be Chet or whoever else, right? I would trade all 3 for Paolo. I would trade all 3 for Paolo. Because number 1, I'm gonna tell you why. We're already young. Okay? At this point, I don't know how 3 rookies, especially if it's not a Paolo or a Jaden Hardy or a Chet, I don't know how 3 rookies is going to make our team better for next season. Now, 3 rookies can make our future really bright. No doubt about that. But I'm saying I don't know how 3 different rookies makes us better. Now, if we got to go and pick all 3 guys, great. Because like I said in the previous video, we do build through the draft. So if we pick 3 guys and 1 is ready and the other 2 are going to be in and out the G League, hey, it is what it is. That's cool. We got 3 first-round picks. We still got a good deal. But if there's an opportunity to trade into the top 3 and take a Paolo in particular, because that's a position need right now for us, trade all 3. Because Paolo is the type of guy that I really, especially with us, I really think Paolo could be the type of guy that has 50% of a Tim Duncan effect. I don't want to get too crazy and say he's going to have a Tim Duncan effect and we win a championship in 2 years. I don't want to say that. But I am saying that I do see Paolo coming in like how Tatum came in for Boston. Got picked to a good, solid team that had good pieces around him. He was able to flourish, average, close to 20 points a game as a rookie and just make his mark right away because that was a position need for Boston at that time. I do see that happening if we get our hands on Paolo. So with that type of example, I would say yes. Now, if it's a situation where nobody's interested in trading out of the top 3, hey, got to roll with the 3 picks. So that's one scenario. Yes, I think it's worth trading up for Paolo. That's number 1. Now, let's say we don't get Paolo. Who else could we get realistically? I've seen the mock drafts. The mock drafts are the mock drafts. And they're never accurate when it comes to the Spurs. I'm just being real. All of our picks have been kind of like we'll come in and say, like last year, I'm watching the draft and I just knew we were taking Kai Jones. I just knew we were taking Kai Jones last year. And when we drafted Josh Primo, I'm like, even DeJounte, remember the tweet DeJounte had last year? Like, it's never right with the Spurs. So I'm just going to put that out there, right? So don't get too carried away with the mock drafts when it comes to our team, at least. But there are some names that I like that I don't see in the mock draft, but I just like because I'm a basketball junkie and I do watch a lot of college basketball. I see some kids, they may not end up being as good as I thought. And then there's some kids that I was high on and the rest of the NBA probably wasn't high on there, end up doing good. Like Jalen McDaniels, I felt like he was going to be a great pro, and nobody really took him as high as I thought he would go, and he's turning out to be a pretty good pro. So one person that I really like for us, talk about the lack of size, go watch that Cockburn kid from Illinois. I know we got Jakob and all that, I understand that, but dude, that I feel like with his size and power game, he's somebody that I think would benefit from an NBA game. And for us, he would take care of that size problem, somebody we can develop. Like, if we don't get like a top 5 pick, that's somebody that I'm looking at for us. I do like the other Murray kid, but like I said before, trading up for Paolo would be the dream scenario for us. Now, we have a lot of cap space. I'm going to go out and say this. I don't see us just going crazy with offering crazy contracts. I do see us trying to lock in what we already have. Like maybe, I think we're definitely going to pay Keldon. We're definitely going to pay Vassell. Down the line, I think they're going to have to max DeJounte out. So I think a lot of our cap space is going to be probably towards keeping what we have as far as our core that we really, truly believe in. My prediction is I don't see that working out for Lonnie because I really think that there are a lot of teams that Lonnie can – I think Lonnie needs a new start. I'm going to just say it. I think Lonnie is going to be a good pro, but I think he just needs a new start. And there are a lot of teams Lonnie can go to that can use him. Like one team that I really like for Lonnie is like Atlanta. Something like that, like young guard. athletic, go play with Trae Young, or even something like these are contention teams. There are a lot of contention teams that Lonnie can potentially help. Like, maybe go with the Minnesota young core, or maybe be somebody like Toronto. Like, there's a lot of teams that can really use Lonnie, and I think somebody's going to offer him a contract that may not make sense for the Spurs. So I don't see it necessarily working out for Lonnie. He's playing really well as we speak right now against OKC. He looks really good. He has 14 off the bench. So, I mean, we see these type of games from Lonnie where he just explodes, and then we see games where we forget he's on the court. So I just think Lonnie just needs a new start. So with that being said, besides us keeping our own, I think there is one person, I'm going to say one, that I think it's worth giving the bag to. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is leaving Phoenix. I don't care what the reports say. Phoenix is going to keep Ayton because Phoenix is having way too much success. But there's one guy that I would go after hard, and that's Miles Bridges. I don't think Miles is going to leave Charlotte just because it's a great thing over there with LaMelo Ball. I think Charlotte has something cooking with their future, so it will be tough, but he's still a free agent. And I think for the Spurs, like I said, we go back to that position need of the power forward position. Bridges fits so well with our young core. I'm just picturing him and Keldon on the floor together. Oh my, with DeJounte running the show, the length of Devin Vassell. Man, that's one person I will say. I'm not high on this free agent class as far as what we need. I think there are like low-level guys that may not be that expensive that is worth probably going after to see if they can develop under our system, like a Marvin Bagley type of guy. But as far as the big names, man, I think Miles would fit so perfect with our team. Like, man, I just think he would fit so well. Miles with Keldon in the front court, even keeping Jakob intact, man, with Vassell and DeJounte. Keep the same starting five and just add Bridges out there. I know Doug McDermott is, on our team, but he can come off the bench, man, for Miles Bridges. Dude, that would be fun to watch. There's going to be a lot of energy. They're going to play hard. Bridges is going to help us tremendously at the 4 spot. I think that's one guy the Spurs should go after. Now, will they? Not sure. I would make a guess and say maybe, maybe not. But man, it would be nice for the Spurs to go after him. This is just my prediction, would be for the Spurs to really go hard after Miles Bridges, bro. He helps our team a lot. I think he fits well into everything that we have going on. Now, will he leave LaMelo Ball and those guys there? Remains to be seen. But, hey, we do have the money. We have the money to go after a Miles Bridges. So that's one free agent that I will say. I think outside of him, it would be just getting guys, like I said before, like Marvin Bagley, or just kind of like the younger guys that made, kind of like Lonnie, just need a new start, just like Lonnie, but just go after guys that fit the position that we need. But other than that, man, I do think where we end up as far as the draft order will dictate how our offseason is going to go as well, because if we're able to get our hands on Paolo, then, of course, we don't need to go after Miles Bridges, because that's just a transcendent forward right there. So I think it can go either way. I am excited. Once again, I said that in the last video. But those are just a couple of things to think about going into this offseason. Trading up for Paolo, keeping the 3 picks, maybe putting a bid in for Miles Bridges. I don't know, but that's my prediction. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to try to do more Spurs content on just the current state on the year. I know I've been talking about the future, but we're going to start doing, current content on how guys are doing currently, how Devin Vassell's looking in the starting 5 and Primo getting more minutes. So those will be some of my next videos. But like I said, like, comment, subscribe, tune in. I appreciate all the support from all the Spurs fans across the world. And that's it. We out.